everyone. Welcome to the Ope Three-Way Pro Wrestling Podcast, and welcome to the inaugural Ope-Ehwards of 2024 with my co-hosts, Donnie and Pierce. Fellas, how we doing? How we feeling about this evening? Hey, there it is.
Oh, I'm in a suit and tie. I'm ready to go.
I'm in a Canadian tuxedo.
Oh, God, we're going to get canceled.
I mean, I'm just in pajamas. I wasn't trying to get too fancy, boys. Got to keep it leisurely. But Donnie, it sounds like you had the right idea yourself. Unless Pierce, do you got the Kevin Owens edition of that tie that you're wearing right now?
No, unfortunately not.
You guys should read what a Canadian tuxedo is.
Is it not just jeans on jeans on jeans?
It is. Okay, you knew. There we go. Very good.
Yeah,
right.
See, I am a man of culture.
Oh,
I am a man of culture as well.
Let's go.
We're getting that double denim.
Double denim, boys.
Hell yeah.
All right, yeah, so we got the Ope-Ehwards today, first ever. Looking back at 2024, talking about some of our award winners. We got some unique ones here, but we got some of the standard ones too. That'll cover most of the show. We'll talk about some other things as they're relevant. Maybe a certain Lucha debut from Monday on Raw.
Unfortunately, I was told by Donnie before the show I could not talk about that debut for 30 minutes.
Yes.
So we'll keep it brief.
Yes. I mean, we talked about other debuts for far less. I as cool as it was, I don't think it should go longer than the match and promo itself. So that said,
20 minutes. 22 minutes.
Follow us on social media. Thanks for following along so far. And without further ado, hit it.
All right, we're going to do this quick because there's not much. 1989, the first ever Royal Rumble pay-per-view, not match, pay-per-view takes place in Houston, Texas. This is actually where the first ever 30-man Royal Rumble match was. So this is the second ever Royal Rumble, technically third because there was like a prototype one they did on a house show. In the match, Big John Studd from number 27, last eliminated number 30, Ted DiBiase.
Okay. I feel like they don't do a whole lot on the historical like winners outside of like the big stars. Like you see, like Austin won it 3 times and Cena won it X number of times. But
here's the thing:
that one
at the beginning, it was very much a bunch of shit happened, and more than likely Hulk Hogan wins.
Mm.
Yeah, as you know, per the time period, sure.
Yeah, checks out. All Hogan.
We're going to skip ahead to 2012 at a house show in Oakland, California. Primo and Epico defeat Airborne. Who remembers that team?
What was that?
That
was
vaguely.
They were the guys, the flippy guys, right?
Okay, yeah, but who were they?
I mean, I wasn't watching too much back then, but what the guy? Like one guy's last name was Bourne. That I know that.
That is correct.
So,
Evan
Airborne,
Bourne, aka Matt Sydal.
Okay.
And
it wasn't Kofi because that was Air Boom.
Ooh, Brandon, you're correct. It is Kofi.
Oh shit. Wait, was it Airborne or Air Boom?
Airborne.
What did you say?
Oh no, maybe it was Air Boom because Airborne was his finisher.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that.
Yeah, the tag team was always
that sweet ass shooting star he did.
Yeah, that move was
then
Airborne.
It was the boom drop, and then okay, my mistake.
Yeah, with the air.
Wow,
but
the segment's ruined.
Get out of here, Donnie. Go back to Canada.
Early contender for the Ope moment of 2025.
Yeah, I changed
my mind. Epico won the WWE Tag Team Championship at a house show. 2017, the second night of the WWE United Kingdom Championship takes place. In the finals, the big strong boy Tyler Bate defeats Pete Dunne to become the inaugural champion.
Oh.
At 19 years old.
19 years old. And
what were y'all doing at
19? Definitely not illegally drinking.
I would have been legally drinking. Sucks to suck.
And now it's not illegal if you're with a parent.
It's not illegal when you're in Canada.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Donnie. The secret ingredient that makes it more fun is crime.
I always thought the secret ingredient was it being free. Those were the best drinks.
That's
I
true
mean, if there are two things that go well together in Wisconsin here, it's alcohol and crime. That much I would attest to.
Well, we're gonna get a little somber. On this day, 2017, Jimmy Superfly Snuka passed away. Obviously, it's a little testy to talk about him nowadays because of what we know, but his splash from the top of the cage at MSG is still one of the greatest wrestling moments ever. And then 2020, Rocky Soulman Johnson passed away, famously father of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and one of the first African American champions in WWE history, with his tag team with Donnie's favorite foot fetishist, Tony Atlas, Mr. America.
I prayed for this and it happened.
And then happy birthday to Shane O'Mac. Here comes the money.
Oh God, no, that's still the last memory I have of him is watching him tear both his. I don't know if it was his knees or his quads at Mania
he fucked up his
39,
quad.
but oh Lord,
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
I
Like
just
father,
remember
like son
watching
in that
that.
regard, at least.
I remember watching that. He comes out, huge pop, tears his quad. He tries to stand up, falls down, looks at the ref, and goes, "Oh, I'm fucked."
I think he tore both of them.
Like-
The way he landed, it looked like he tore both of them.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, that's the only thing that he hopefully has in common with his father is the weak quad game. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
happy birthday, Shane
Yes.
O'Mac.
Happy birthday to Shane O'Mac. Here Comes the Money is a fucking banger.
It
I
is.
love that theme song. But it's time, boys. Welcome to the inaugural Ope-Ehwards.
Oh, yeah. Big moment for us on the podcast. We got to come up with some cool awards. Some of them are, like I said, pretty obvious, pretty standard for what you'd expect for a wrestling award show. But
And listeners, if you can believe it or not, Donnie did not put a single AEW anything on his nominees.
oh,
Wow.
I mean, I only acknowledge real wrestling companies, so not billionaire pet projects. So. But I did change some of my votes, but we'll get into that in a second. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to introduce the award, say what it's for, and we'll each list off what our respective nominee was, one or two sentences as to why, one or two, and then we'll say who the winner was. So, Ope is right. Ope is right, yeah, and that'll be our first award of the evening, the Ope Moment of the Year. So, the Ope Moment of the Year for any of our Canadian listeners and anybody not from the northern United States, north central United States, I suppose, is the biggest accident, botch, mistake, poor decision of the year. So, the one that I went with was at Money in the Bank 2024 in Toronto. I got to see it live. Damian Priest not kicking out of Seth Rollins' move in the title match there, and all the hilarity that ensued. So,
I
was going to say, would you like to go next, Brandon, or would you like me?
I
you guys
kind of interjected there,
Yeah, go
I
for
might
it.
as well capitalize on the momentum. Well, fellas, I nominated the fact that Joe Hendry not once received the TNA World Heavyweight Championship this year, which speaks for itself.
Yep. Yeah, one of the most popular wrestlers in the world.
You say his name, he appears. And I still believe. And finally, my nomination for the Ope Moment of the Year was back in April when, quote unquote, the Young Bucks showed the Brawl In playback, proving once and for all that CM Punk was not wrong and everything he said was correct. And it did not help AEW at all and just made CM Punk look better.
And the winner for this one in a unanimous vote was the Brawl In playback by the Young Bucks. Yeah.
I think I speak for all of us when I say Young Bucks go home. That statement rung true 10 years ago, and it rings true even more today, especially now that they're the IWGP Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
Again.
this is the
Do we
button.
have a drum roll to get us?
No, the closest we have is that.
We'll pass on.
I could go like.
Excellent.
I think that'll piss me off quicker than it would.
We could do this. Closest we
There
have
you
to a
go.
drum roll.
Okay.
Excellent. It fits in well with our next award category.
Yeah, that's right.
It
And
does.
it
Does.
Yeah, the A award. So if you have an Ope award or an Ope moment, you got to have an A award or an A moment. And this is the award for the most Canadian moment or thing in 2024. Again, I'll just kick off my nominee, and that is just the entire body of work of one Kevin Owens. I think his work was incredible through 2024. One of the biggest characters in the wrestling business, and very indicative of Canadian personality and culture, I would say.
Strong showing. I myself voted for the Cope and Christian hockey fight in their match for the TNT Championship because I'm sure you know, Donnie, they're from your neck of the woods, specifically Orangeburg? That's South Carolina.
Orangeville.
Orangeville. Okay.
Yeah.
Ville.
Yes.
Yeah. Your boy, Adam, don't call me Edge Copeland, repping the Maple Leafs. And Christian Cage healing it up in standard Bruins attire. Mildly entertaining.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was an interesting one that I saw. We actually got two hockey fights though, did we not? Or no, that was the year before where we got Sammy and Kevin in the Penguins jerseys, right? When they fought Judgment Day.
Yes.
Oh, but Sammy did come out in a hockey jersey because a player passed away, I believe.
Oh yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. Yes, Johnny Gaudreau.
Yep. Yes. Rest in peace.
Yes. Pierce?
And, well, buddy, my nomination for this award, guy, for the most Canadian moment would be when Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, Forge in Excellence. You know, it happened. It's the most Canadian promotion there is that's not named Stampede. So, you know, it's good that Donnie's neck of the woods gets some independent wrestling. And I'd say that's pretty Canadian.
Yep, it is Canadian. That's in their name. So, well, I guess if you consider a Maple Leaf Canadian, which most people do. The winner is... that would be Kevin Owens. 2 votes to 1, but Kevin Owens takes it for the most Canadian of the year. And I really do think Kevin's personality is quite Canadian. People want to say Canadians are polite, but I know a lot more people like Kevin than I do.
What would you say is Kevin Owens' most Canadian moment of all his Canadian moments, Derry?
I feel like just his inherent acknowledgement of bullshit and just yelling his way through it. I was even doing that today in my work. I was just something just didn't make any sense, and I'm just yelling. I'm just man, this is really like Kevin Owens. Man, I'm glad I made this nominee. So.
Oh hell yeah! The proud embodiment of a proud people.
That's it. Next up, we have the Giver Award, which we are naming that for the most improved wrestler. Our 3 nominees. My nominee was Nia Jax. I think that since her return, she has been quite an improvement over her prior iterations. She was Queen of the Ring. She became champion at SummerSlam and had a very strong title reign that was ended just recently. And she's my pick for most improved, partly because I don't think she's even injured anybody.
No. Yeah, you might be right about that. Well, I'm gonna say my most improved for this year would have had to have been big Bronson Reed for the fact that he's a big boy. And
man slapping me.
Yes, that. And he had a great feud TV feud, mind you, but a great feud nonetheless with Braun Strowman, bringing them both out of relative obscurity, which to say that about two monstrous men of their caliber is nuts. But you take a guy, particularly in Bronson Reed, who really didn't have much going for him except for his stint on NXT, shows up on the main rosters, borderline Odyssey Jones territory, in my opinion. No one's really talking about him. You kind of forget he's there. And then one day he just kind of shows up, and then he's feuding with Braun, and then he's feuding with Seth Rollins. And now then he shows up at War Games and, does what he does. And we can elaborate on those types of
but we won't
maneuvers.
Because we're staying in within 1 or 2 sentences.
You're right. Well, that was
I found
was
my
that about? Is that about 7 sentences, Donnie?
sorry. Big jumping boy feuds with Seth Rollins. There you go.
That's all you needed. That's all you needed.
Mouse was
60
just so close. It was just like,
Shut up, bitch!
it was right there, but I couldn't pull the trigger. You gave me an in, and I took it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And in this category, I went with Trick Williams. He really came into his own this year. His feud with Ethan Page was great. I mean, whoop that trick,
Hell yeah. Our winner of this one was Nia Jax. 2 votes to 1.
Hey.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I couldn't say it enough that like she belongs now. She belongs. It's entertaining to watch her in the ring, and yeah, we'll see what happens next for her. It looks like it might be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, did you see the heat she was drawing in that promo, though?
Yeah,
That's standard fare for her going forward. She's going to be a top-end player for a long, long time.
Yep, absolutely. Next up is our Microbrew Award, which is for the top rookie debuting in the bigger league promotions. We kind of tried to figure out some appropriate rookie criteria, and we're like, you know what, just like top rookie in the big leagues makes the most sense with the varying amounts of experience some of these new people have.
That's why it's the Slammy Award for Best New Superstar.
Yeah, let's go with that too. So my nominee was Stephanie Vaquer. I think between her and Julia, I think either one of those could have been the nominee, and my personal affinity goes to Stephanie because she is very smooth in the ring through and through. Brandon?
Well, I naturally had to go with MLW veteran Jacob Fatu because as much as he loves Solo,
I was just
He loves-
sorry. I preemptively did that.
Hey, no, we don't shut up. I love you, Solo. We do not.
No,
yeah, you're the one who loves Solo in this trio.
I
Both
do
of
love
you.
Solo.
Yeah, I also love Solo.
What the
I was
heck?
just preemptively doing that for when Brandon went on a tangent.
He was good,
Well, guess-
but that's okay.
Yeah, well, guess what? As much as he loves Solo, as he loves violence and a diverse move set, and that's all I have to say about that.
Very nice. Pierce?
Good job, Brandon, and I apologize for that. My finger slipped.
Oh, heck.
It's all love, brother. My pick is Javon Evans. I mean, dude's 20 years old and is absolutely fucking killing it. The one real slip up I saw was that RKO, but everything else he did was just phenomenal.
That RKO was very ambitious. I'd say that. Our winner for the Microbrew Award of 2024,
And a clean sweep.
Jacob Fatu.
I love you.
Love you, Solo.
I mean, just his promo from last week shows why he should be at the forefront of the card. Jimmy Uso, the difference between our bloodline and your bloodline is that your bloodline left you on the front line, the dead line. That's such a fucking fire bar.
It is bars on bars. The Nightmare on Elm Street bar wasn't bad either.
He's the fucking future, man.
Yeah, the promos are shining through. He's coming. They're giving him room to breathe and expand without Solo being arching over him. And I mean, I think that's a foreshadowing of things to come in my mind. I think you have a next tribal chief candidate as much as anybody else. I think Solo stands down, Jacob steps up. But we could talk about that in the 2025 predictions episode, boys.
Yep, we could. That said, we're going to go on to our next award here, which is named the Top Chirp. We listed this as best promo of the year, but we kind of just changed it up a little bit into like best promo, best segment, non-wrestling related, like non-competitive.
This was tough.
Yeah, this was tough. So we had three good nominees here. My personal nominee was, as drafted here by Brandon in the voting options, The Rock making Cody a bitch in Chicago.
Yeah, yep.
Which, like, man, just like the whole mood and the cinematography associated to it and the violence that doesn't really get seen much in WWE television. Mwah, chef's kiss.
He made him bleed his own blood.
He did. He called his shot perfectly.
Yep,
Brandon?
the prophecy had been fulfilled.
Yep.
See, and that was hard because that was one that I really wanted to go with myself. But a close second in my mind would be something that was developing into WrestleMania as well. Drew McIntyre's promo where he talks about
for this, and it happened.
That specifically. Thank you so much.
We have a button for it, man.
Yeah, it did that.
Yes, we do. I mean, it gave us a hint at what Drew could do with something that was not really built all that much leading into that promo. And since then, I mean, again, the work speaks for itself. You know, Drew Punk, easily one of the top grassroots, I should say, feuds of this last several years. So there's that.
Yep. Love our grass-fed feuds here at Ope Three-Way.
Yep, 100% organic. Organic, boys.
We're big grass-fed boys up here in Scotty.
Hell yeah. All
right.
Yeah.
Pierce? So, I mean, I really had two options for this. One was MJF's return promo, but that got axed out for Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech. It was fucking phenomenal. He said "suck your dick" live on TV. It was great.
Suck
my dick. I can say it was just perfect. It was Paul Heyman fucking speaking live for 30 minutes. What more could you want?
It was great. Got to
see
an
ECW hat, mind you.
Mm-hmm. The winner for this one, in a vote of 2-1, was The Rock, the final boss, if you will, making Cody a bitch in the reigns of Chicago. That's a clip that I'm going to go back and watch years from now and be like, you had to be there. Like, you had to, like, watch it live to, like, just feel the gravitas associated to it. Hell of a
definitely
segment.
Definitely a cornerstone segment of this era of professional wrestling, without a doubt in my mind.
Yep.
And he also introduced us to a great new interjection when you hit someone with a trash can or any other foreign object. Shushuza! It was great. Came out of fucking nowhere, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's The Rock!"
Our next award is the Old Fashioned Award, and that goes to the best match of the year.
I want to preface this award. Not all of us were able to watch every AEW pay-per-view. Ospreay Danielson is not on here, although objectively it was probably for real the best match of last year. So, any of you AEW diehards, please just calm down from there.
Hell
or
yeah.
Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer, if you're listening, you probably aren't, because I personally have hated on you enough on this show, but nevertheless.
Tell me a story, Uncle Dave.
Nominees for Old Fashioned. I went with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. That was just the culmination of a story 15 years in the making, with any amount of interference, pop, appearance you could imagine, and Cody finished his story, and it was a historical moment in WWE history.
In the spirit of subtracting in the spirit of subtracting anything that Will Ospreay has done this year, I had to go myself with the Punk McIntyre Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood for the fact that, like you said, we're talking about culminations of massive feuds, and both men absolutely fucking brutalized each other in ways that I didn't even suspect. And they had to come off the heels of Hangman Swerve on top of that. So, and they hung with them, so no pun intended.
Pierce?
I'm gonna go on the AW route of this. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson at All In. This was probably, besides Cody Roman, one of the most emotional matches I've ever seen live, and it just had me on the edge of my seat the entire match. Swerve is a megastar. Bryan Danielson is Bryan Danielson. It was just beautiful.
And they were all very good options, and none of them involved Will Ospreay, so I think that's a win too. The winner for the Old Fashioned
Yeah.
Award
Johnny.
was Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, and I guess I gotta say, like, when you look back at professional wrestling history, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, this match will still be at the absolute forefront. More so than the other two, I believe, and I think it's an appropriate winner, even if it wasn't the best wrestling match. I think the longevity of the impact.
No, if we're talking pure entertainment, it's Reigns Rhodes. If we're talking pure wrestling, I think we have to go Swerve Bryan. If we're talking a combination of the two, you get the Punk McIntyre. We picked three options that are probably the three best options for this that we could have had.
Yep.
Yeah, Reigns and Rhodes was definitely a hallmark match, much like we were talking about with The Rock and Cody as a segment. This was definitely the start of the Triple H era, in my mind, in WWE.
Absolutely.
And we were all there live for it, and that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Okay, the UFTA Award, as I fix some of our technical difficulties. The UFTA Award for the worst bump in 2024. My nominee was Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. It was his face or his head when he took that toolbox off the skull from CM Punk and bled like 9 liters of blood. That was a pretty rough bump. So that's my pick.
Yeah, so my bump, and in talking about another great Canadian like our good bud Don here, decided to get spirited, as all great Canadians do, and get up to the top of a cage and jump and land directly on his leg, shattering his tibia and getting an undeserved pin over the presumably now departed from AEW Malachi.
Yep.
And
you could have given that same one to Bronson Reed, but Bronson Reed didn't land in such an egregious way, I don't think, as how Cope did. So
yeah,
Right,
Cope landed
yeah.
first.
yes.
Yeah, being north of 350 pounds didn't work in Bronson Reed's favor in that situation.
It did not, but yeah. And Pierce?
Mine is Darby's ladder jump during Sting's retirement match through a pane of glass that had nobody on it. What, Darby? Why do you like to just hurt yourself constantly?
That was gross when I saw that back. I'd forgotten about that one. I forgot about that one, and then when I saw it on the nominee list, I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened." And then I looked it back, and I was like, "Man, this is kind of fucked up." But like,
I don't get it. I love Darby Allin. Hopefully, his trip to Everest goes well, but I just don't understand that.
Yep.
Imagine the bump he's going to take off the summit there. Whew. Hopefully not, but
our winner for the UFTA. That was Cope off the cage in a landslide 3-0 vote. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking still to this day. And still winning the match? Give me a break.
Yeah, you have everybody, including his wife, getting on an interview being like, he was out of his fucking mind.
Yep.
Think about your kids, but hey, all for the love of the biz, I guess. Not enough to come back from a career-ending neck injury. And to jump off the top of a cage at damn near 50 years old, or even after 50 years old.
I think he's 51.
Woof. Yeah.
Woofda.
Right.
Yeah.
Take it over to Tim Hortons.
Yeah, next one, a little Tim Horton special here with the Double Double Award. Double Double Award goes to the best tag team of 2024. Notably missing from this nominee list is 2024 Wrestling Observer Newsletter winner Young Bucks, because they don't deserve to be on here.
Go home! Off is the direction you can fuck.
I don't care. I said it. I feel good. I am right.
That was to the Young Bucks.
Okay, cool. My nominee was Fraxium. That's Nathan Frazier and Axiom over in NXT. Man, these guys just have bangers week after week in NXT, both on PLEs and on the weekly show. Add in their singles match dynamic that they both kind of had near the tail end of the year. It's a really cool, neat tag team that won a lot of matches and impressed the hell out of me.
Yeah, me myself, I put the system in there. For those of you who don't know, don't watch GNA, that's Brian Myers, aka Kurt Hawkins, and Eddie. Don't call him Edward. Eddie Edwards. Okay. I don't really care for the system all that much. I just they won the TNA. They won the TNA tag titles twice. I will give them that, which is more than I think any other TNA team this year. And yeah, got to give TNA some love. They have been sorely underrepresented in these award shows. So,
Pierce?
That is true. TNA is underrepresented, but I'm gonna go with Private Party. I know they didn't do too much after they won the tag titles, but it's the fact that they were able to beat the Young Bucks and win the tag titles in a year where they were just kind of. I feel like they've been underrated forever, and they finally got their shot and showed why they're great.
Our winner
in a landslide
was Fraxium.
Yeah.
If Private Party had some good follow-up, I could have warranted throwing a vote over their way, but Fraxium consistently has been very good all year, and they're still going.
They're the double-double. They're the coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars.
Hell yeah. My favorite.
Which they're all a double-double. It's a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars.
Yep.
That's a lot more syllables. But I don't know. I love Fraxium. I've come around to their in-ring work big time. I actually never was not a fan of their in-ring work. I just don't care for their dynamic as much. Like the will they, won't they over the course of this whole year. Like, is Nathan going to go after a singles title finally? Are they going to split the team? Is there tension? Is there a rift developing all year?
Can they coexist?
And can they coexist? And apparently they still kick ass in every single tag match they have. So,
including last night.
You know what? Yeah, that's what I heard.
Is fine.
Yeah, that match with OTM last night was very good. Very good.
I'll have to give her a watch.
Yep. Our last 2 awards that we've got here, we got Best Gal, Best Female Wrestler in the industry. Our 3 nominees. Mine was the one on her revenge tour, and that would be Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was a fan favorite before 2024, but she became a staple in WWE's storytelling and branding in 2024. Her character work, I think, was second to none. Her in-ring work was fine, but a lot of memorable moments associated to Liv Morgan in 2024.
Fair enough. On the opposite end of that coin, I'm going to say Rhea Ripley for the fact that she, in this year, having gotten away from Judgment Day and now also having apparently gotten away from Damian Priest as well, is standing firmly on her own. And she screams superstar in everything. Presentation, in-ring work, in video game ratings, easily the highest rated female of any WWE 2K game. Rhea Ripley this year and almost every year.
And for my nominee, I'm going to go with the timeless one, Toni Storm. I mean, character work wise, she was the best all year. Her feud with Mariah, her match at All In, which, arguably should have main evented. And even with this new character of her having amnesia and being like, I'm brand new to AEW, I enjoy it. Tony's fucking awesome.
Our winner in Best Gal. And 2-1 vote was Liv Morgan in her revenge tour. I was very close for voting for Toni Storm. Very close.
I couldn't justify voting for Liv Morgan on the fact that Rhea Ripley made her look like a bitch half of the year.
Yeah, I couldn't vote for Rhea Ripley because she wasn't around for half of the year.
Yeah,
But
fair.
Toni Storm and Liv Morgan for me were neck and neck. I have my personal bias. I guess that
The
was
bias of Toni Storm is in a company that only has one W and an A in their name.
And someone who runs it that doesn't give a shit about women or their wrestling. I mean, that kind of
Not
counts
named
too.
Mercedes Monet, to be fair.
Touche. Our last award for this show, the Best Guy Award. I think that's kind of self-explanatory there.
Best buddy. The best
buddy.
pal.
Best pal, yes. My nominee was for Sterling General Gunther. I cannot do it as good as anybody else.
The Ring General Gunther.
Gunther. Guy's just an absolute workhorse, an absolute unit. His promo work has gotten so much improved. More reason to care about his matches, and they're all fucking bangers. So yeah, Gunther's my pick.
I mean, his promo Monday was fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
That you're just a tag team wrestler promo was great.
Yep. Brandon?
Well, now no longer subtracting from his body of work, I, in this category, will nominate Will Ospreay.
Despite that time that he flamed you on Instagram?
Hey, that was several years ago, buddy. Yeah, but yeah, he had a mountain of plastic gold that, I said didn't amount to one of anything in WWE. And he took liberty in getting on me about that. But that was then, and this is now. And now, when you consider, the numerous dream matches that Ospreay has had this year with Bryan Danielson, great match with Takeshita, brought back the rivalry with Ricochet, Swerve Strickland, MJF, you name it. And now, most recently with Kazuchika Okada and Kyle Fletcher in the semis and the finals of the C2. And at some point, we got to put Will Ospreay in the AEW World Title picture. It's amazing he ain't there yet, but it's on the horizon. We know this to be true.
But it's how selfless he is that he was the one who said, have Swerve beat me at Forbidden Door so they can focus on Swerve.
Right.
Which brings me to my pick. Whose house is it? It's fucking Swerve's house. I don't think there's been a bigger rise this year than Swerve Strickland. He went from a star to a megastar and had one of the better AEW World Title runs. And whose house is it, man?
In this case,
it's not Hangman's house.
The award winner was Swerve's house. It was Swerve Strickland. I voted 2-1. Congrats, Swerve. He had a very good year. Very, very good year. And a guy who...
Phenomenal.
I would say before Monday would be a lifer in AEW. But then he made a tweet about WWE's new acquisition. And now maybe I'm not so sure. But that might be a good segue for what we wanted to take a couple moments to talk about. And that was the debut.
Pierce has been waiting for this all night long.
Yes, he has. The debut of Penta. So Penta made his WWE debut to nobody's surprise after weeks of promos and multiple pieces of merchandise available on the shop on Monday. But he was on Raw, had a banger match with Chad Gable. Pierce, you wanted to take 30 minutes. I'm not giving you 30 minutes, but tell us about Penta. Tell our listeners what they should expect out of Penta. Tell us what you thought about his appearance on Monday. Tell us if anybody who talked about Penta on AEW is going to get blacklisted by Tony Khan. Tell us what you think.
Well, Ray Phoenix's merchandise is no longer on the AEW shop, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Let's be honest. I was expecting a 10-minute match between Penta and Gable, and they went 20. And they had, up until this point, the best TV match of the year. They showed up. They showed out. Gable gave you the allow me to reintroduce myself and showed you how good he fucking is and how much he deserves that singles title he wants this year. And Penta fucking is Penta. Me and Brandon were talking during the show, and Brandon mentioned that the crowd kind of sucked, and they made that crowd get loud, and they showed how good of a worker Penta is, how good of a character Penta is. And then he had a fucking incredibly good promo. I didn't know that Penta could even cut a promo in English, and he had a great English promo. And unlike in AEW, he was able to actually fucking sell and show that he is damn good at it. I think they've been looking for the next big Mexican superstar since Rey Mysterio. They tried with Mystico as Sin Cara, and it failed miserably. They tried with Alberto Del Rio. Haha, what a prick. They've tried with Dragon Lee.
Sorry, what's his name? What did you say his name was? Alberto Del Rio? That's not his name on this podcast.
Alberto Del Douchebag.
Thank you.
And I still think they can get a big star out of Andrade and Dragon Lee, but they just need the backing. With one match, I think you got a world champion contender in Penta.
Now, with fairness, I think not putting Dominic Mysterio's name in that hat after his performance over the last couple of years is slightly disrespectful, but nevertheless.
But I don't think, respectfully, I'm thinking from Mexico. Dominic is a San Francisco street kid, you know what I mean?
San Fran or San Diego?
Well,
San Diego, same difference. It's California. It's all
wow.
Bad. Yeah.
Shout out to the people in California. Hope you all stay safe, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to all those people fighting the fires and the people that are getting away from the fires. We hope you're okay. And keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, Brandon, you were going to say something.
I mean, I was going to say, if we're comparing the two, we're talking about Dominic Mysterio and Penta in chronology here too. Now, Penta's been grinding his ass off 4 years to make it to the WWE. And in one match, like Pierce said, he shows that he's ready now. Dominic Mysterio is, I believe, one of the WWE's greatest homegrown projects. And I think he's going to be world title ready as well. I mean, it's kind of like with Jay, I feel like, where you've yet to really see him kind of emerge in his own. And Jay is a bit further ahead, obviously, having won the Intercontinental Championship, merch sales through the roof, etc. But, I mean, I don't think it's out of league to say at some point maybe we see a Dominic Mysterio Penta world title match. But to that point, I think Penta is just ready right the fuck now.
Yeah, I'm real curious. I'm real curious what they're going to do with Penta. Like how they keep him relevant without strapping him to the LWO drain.
Please, for the love of Christ. Please.
You
for all that is good and holy.
Yeah, like, are we going to get him a match against Braun Breaker? Because I think that could be something he could quite quickly work his way up to.
Yeah, that should be the Mania match.
Braun Breaker versus Penta?
Oh, yeah.
I could see
you don't want Sheamus Braun number 57 this time for all the marbles?
if they want to run back another IC ladder match to Open Mania, give me Penta, give me Braun, give me Sheamus. Maybe Ilya comes back and he's in it. Give me Ludwig. Give me like 8 just mid card guys to just show up and have an absolute insane ladder match, and have Penta do 47 destroyers off the ladder.
We're getting Sheamus versus Braun into Saturday night's main event for what it's worth.
Wasn't the first time, won't be the last time.
No,
Unfortunately.
I'm fine with that. It's meat slapping. Those two are really good together.
Yeah. I just hate to have to shoehorn Sheamus into every single IC title match at WrestleMania until he wins. So
No, I'd rather see Penta Braun and just give them 15 to 20 minutes to just have them open up night 1 or night 2 and just have them show out.
Yep.
I'd be fine with that.
I was very impressed by Penta. I'd seen some of his stuff in the Lucha Bros. Lucha Brothers. Sorry, Lucha Bros. This is the Mario Bros. One of the things I didn't like, admittedly, from their time in AEW, and this is bias, but their matches with the Young Bucks, which were very heavily praised by a lot of people, did still seem very choreographed to me. It didn't feel like a match more than it felt like a routine. I didn't feel that at all in Penta's match on Monday. It did not feel like a routine. It did not feel like a spot fest. It felt like a real good wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. I said it to Pierce. I said it to you, Pierce. Chad Gable was the perfect opponent for Penta in his first match. Like, their styles mix so well together. They both know how to sell offense. I mean, I'm still wondering if Penta's leg is fucked. Is his leg fucked? Did they confirm with it?
That selling with him screaming when his knee was getting bashed over the ring post, 10 out of 10.
I mean, he came to play, and you could see it on his face. He was so fucking elated to be there. Just smiling, biggest fucking smile on his face. I mean, granted, it's Penta, so his eyes are almost always bulging out his head, it looks like. But you could just feel that jubilation coming off that man when he was in that match. And it was so cool. The coolest part, I feel like, was reading Chad Gable's comments after the match when he's talking on Twitter about how at the end of it, he never felt so alive as when he was wrestling a match with Penta. Like, it reminded him of why he fell in love with pro wrestling in the first place, why he chose that as his career. That speaks volumes for a first match between the two of them, and for Penta's first match in the E. The sky's the limit for Penta, man. And on the note of the Lucha Brothers, do we even want the Lucha Brothers together as soon as Phoenix shows up? I feel like that's where they're going to go.
I want Phoenix either in NXT or on SmackDown. Keep them apart for at least a year or two. Let Penta get to that world championship level. And I think he could be a world champion at some point in his WWE career. And then after that, after he loses, maybe he kind of loses himself, and then you have Phoenix, and then you bring the Lucha Bros together and have them tear up the tag division.
Which any show, any tag division, they will rip asunder in WWE.
Yeah, I think in WWE they have to be a tag team just because of their history together, but it doesn't have to be right away.
No.
I just don't want anything to diminish Penta's star in WWE as it is right now. Because, I mean, of the two, I mean, Phoenix, if you talk about guys who are going to be the next Rey Mysterio as far as in-ring acrobatics, innovation, I feel like Phoenix, more so even than Penta, would be your nominee for that. However, like Penta...
Are you sure? Rey Fenix is the next Rey Mysterio? Or are you 100% sure?
I mean, they're from one Rey to another.
I think you're correct, though.
I will miss Justin Roberts enunciating for Rey Fenix, though. That I will miss. Just those long ass R rolls, man. Just all right. But man, Penta is pure WWE. Like, he is everything that they look for in like an all well-rounded superstar. And I'm of the opinion that the longer they stay apart, the better it is for both of them until they eventually do come together. It's inevitable, but Penta needs this shine, man. He's been grinding so hard for so long.
When does he get the match with
But
Io Sky?
And Kyrie and Chelsea Green.
Oh man, those are bangers. Like, just because they're like matches you wouldn't expect to see anymore, but like they were
Lucha
entertaining.
yeah, on
Underground
that
fucking time, man.
on that note, can you believe that Cole? I mean, I know they've shouted out some like opposing companies or some like New Japan, and now TNA is getting a lot. But to mention Lucha Underground on a WWE podcast, or not a WWE podcast, a WWE broadcast
Yes, we are a
in
podcast. They are a
2025.
broadcast.
We are a podcast, yes, and I'm mentioning the mention of Lucha Underground on Raw in 2025.
Yep.
Crazy world, crazy times. Almost as crazy as fucking what's his nuts dude who got blitzed up on Raw last week and nobody. Travis Scott.
Oh
Almost
yeah.
as crazy as. But
But I think that's enough talking about Penta as much as I would like to do it. Let's continue on with Raw.
Look, yeah, there's something I'm gonna bring up that I briefly brought it up in our little group chat. Nobody responded to it, but I want to put a little feather in my cap here. A little announcement that was made during the broadcast is that the Wyatt Six are moving to SmackDown. Yeah,
I think they fit
And the most-
SmackDown more.
I just think they're going to get lost in the shuffle here on Raw with having so many stars right now.
I would
That-
agree with
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah,
I think putting them on SmackDown is smart and letting them kind of roam free over there.
And I mean, too, Bray, I feel like when we're talking about in memoriam to Bray, the majority of his success was on the SmackDown brand, I feel. Obviously, the most obvious being the WWE champion. And then his match with Randy Orton, his feud with Randy Orton, all took place on SmackDown. And you're right.
no,
like,
that was Raw.
I feel like
man.
Raw.
That was Raw.
Are you sure about that?
Wait, which one are we talking
No,
about?
'cause-
Are we talking about OG Bray Wyatt, or are we
Well,
talking about
both
the
of them.
Fiend Bray Wyatt? No, because the Fiend was on
Both of
Raw.
them.
No, the
Both of them
OG.
were
No, the
SmackDown.
OG.
Both of them were SmackDown. Both world titles were won on SmackDown.
They were one on, no, but his feud with Randy Orton was a Raw feud.
It was
No,
a
it was
SmackDown
not.
feud.
Yeah, because remember, Orton and Harper were the SmackDown tag champs. Or was it Orton and Bray? Or was it both?
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
I'm talking about the
they were
Fiend in
Raw.
2020. Sorry, we may be talking about different storylines.
Oh, yeah.
One was Raw, but we don't need to talk about that because it was complete dog shit.
I don't think the build was dog shit. I think the payoff was dog shit.
Yes, I will agree with that, Don.
Not great.
I mean, you had the most hilarious pin and one of the most hilarious pins in modern wrestling with Alexa Bliss mounting Randy Orton for the win on the end of that was a pay-per-view, wasn't it?
You're not helping your cause.
No, that was hilarious. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
with her anticipated return coming, does she join the Wyatt Six? Yes or no, and why?
I hope not.
I'd be okay with it, but I prefer her just to be herself.
Brandon, why do you say no, Brandon?
I feel like there's a lot of things that Alexa Bliss can do. And while she herself said that being in the Wyatt family, or rather attached to Bray Wyatt specifically, the Fiend, was one of the most fun things she's ever done in her career, honestly, I feel like the way the Wyatt Six is configured now, with the sixth person effectively being Bray in spirit, held within the lantern, I feel like that works well. I feel like having six people in a stable gets to be excessive, i.e., any iteration of the Bullet Club or the New World Order, etc. And then two, I don't know, I get this feeling, and it's already kind of happening with Nikki Cross, where she's, in spite of her being the female in the group, she's not really getting. Then again, I guess you could say that about a lot of the Wyatt
You
Six,
say that
not
about
really
the whole
getting
faction, man.
as much shine, but it's definitely going to be a thing for Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss would even, I would assume, outshine Bo for the fact that people have been clamoring for her for a while. I feel like, I don't know, in a personal note, I feel like this is Bo's thing, and like just let him be the ringleader, let him do his shit. He doesn't need to be overshadowed by Alexa. Nobody else needs to be overshadowed by Alexa. Alexa is a big enough star, and the women's division could use more stars that are just kind of stars just doing their own thing. And I feel like Alexa has shown she is good with character work, coincidentally enough, in her time with the Wyatts, and I feel like she could stand to come back with something different.
Okay.
That's all.
What does this is my last question on this, because we kind of alluded to it there, like the Wyatt Six as a whole, since their debut, which was incredible, haven't really done much of anything. How do we keep them relevant moving to SmackDown without going too far like they may have with The Fiend when he first came around?
And that's really tough too, because they already made the decision to have Howdy take a clean loss, dead ass center of the ring with Karrion just squatting on his chest. And that was the last time we see him before Karrion comes out of Adam Pearce's office. It's like, the Wyatts moved to SmackDown. And then that was it. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, do they continue off of that? Do they do like a whole other reboot again? But then I feel like, again, fans are going to remember that for what it is. And how do you, right? I guess that is the question. How do you get the fans behind the Wyatt Six at this point without involving Alexa Bliss?
Murder everyone.
Yeah, but they did that. They murdered Chad Gable, and look at that. He got the match with Penta.
Again. Murder everyone.
Who is there for them to murder on SmackDown? Like the thing is like with on Raw, there is at least multiple 3+ man groups that you could kind of make that work with. Who does SmackDown have to accomplish that?
I mean, we're talking.
It's literally just the bloodline, right?
Yeah, do they put the new bloodline out of their misery? That's the only thing that I can kind of see that
with. That's the only
with.
faction I could think of, because like the other like heel tag teams that you have, like DIY or Grayson Waller, maybe they finally put Grayson
going
Waller.
After DIY is not a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe they finally put Grayson Waller and Austin Theory out of their misery.
I just want to see
Grayson Waller
die, man. Everybody dies. I need them to hit the nuke button.
I don't know. I like the idea of moving them to a show with less star power, especially now that SmackDown's 3 hours and like guaranteed 3 hours, unlike Raw. I just am nervous on how they get them to be relevant again without pushing them too far. We'll see.
Yeah, and hopefully Bo can continue with the role that he's been on as far as creativity in his character. I mean, the slow morph into Bray Wyatt is captivating in and of itself.
The Uncle Howdy character is captivating as hell.
But hopefully this can continue, and hopefully Bo doesn't get disheartened or disillusioned by anything, and we can continue to see this develop.
Yeah, and get all 5 of them in the ring, because all 5 of them have good things to bring to the table. And I feel like we've seen only 2 of the 5 have had a singles match. Right?
Yeah.
That sounds accurate, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Howdy and
now that we get Crazy Woman Nikki Cross back, which is the best Nikki Cross.
Agree.
Sorry, all 3 Nikki ASH fans.
Oh boy. What else? Anything else from Raw that you guys wanted to cover? I mean, there was some decent matches. We had multiple announcements for the Royal Rumble at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins will all be in the Royal Rumble in 2.5 weeks.
And next week we get Drew versus Seth again, which I'm all for.
Yeah, it'll be a good match.
But Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai.
Oh, fuck me. Good Lord. Thank you.
Lyra's the inaugural IC Women's Champion. Those 2 women just went off to the races. There was not a single rest hold in the entire match. They went at it for 9-10 minutes, and it was a great match. It was a lot of fun.
A hell of a bump on the outside.
Oh yeah, that suplex off the apron was gnarly, and I think they chose the right woman with Lyra, and
I do too. As much as the internet might tell you otherwise, I do believe
that was a hard pick.
Right.
I mean, Dakota's an internet darling. I love Dakota as much as the next person, but
so do I. but I think
I
Lyra
think
was
Dakota's-
Lyra is the better choice. And, congratulations, Lyra.
Yeah, Dakota's been a long time coming. I mean, I can understand tentatively not putting anything on her for the fact that she's been so injury prone over the course of her career, particularly recently. But I gotta believe she's got something good coming for her this year. I mean, they both showed out for sure. And I mean, Dakota Kai, whether it's breaking free out of damage control or what, I gotta believe she's got something good coming for her in the form of some kind of gold.
I feel like if Dakota Kai can stay healthy, which I know I hate putting this caveat on it because we always hope everybody stays healthy, but she's had some challenges with that recently. She could be a Money in the Bank winner. She could be a Queen of the Ring winner.
Right?
She could win the Royal Rumble in 2026, potentially, which we don't speak about that according to Pierce, but like there's opportunity for her to stay relevant, uh, keep putting on entertaining matches, and have more and more fan support get behind her live in the arena, not just on the internet. Which I think there's still some gap I think between those two platforms. But yeah, she
Yeah.
could very easily be or position herself to be a champion further into 25 or into 2026.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they both did very well in representing the spirit of the Intercontinental Championship. I would have given them, myself being selfish in it, 5 to 10 more minutes,
Agree.
but
Yeah.
it did what it needed to do.
If you listen to the internet, Penta stole it all, and then they still ended it after 2.5 hours. So the main event was also a banger, though. What a fun,
Pain.
interestingly booked match.
Pain.
That was the what was the stipulation
It's
on this
just
match?
Street
What?
it
fight.
was
It
a
was a street fight, right?
street
Okay,
fight
yeah, I was trying to remember. It was a street fight between Finn Balor and Damian Priest, which
with
Being a
street
Finn
trash
Balor
Finn
fan is
Balor.
just pain.
yeah, there was multiple big spots here. They had a stretcher job set up for Damian Priest. Obviously, I
Which
thought it was
Damien's an
serious.
asshole for that one.
Yeah, I thought
Let's
it
be
was
honest.
serious. Like I was like, admittedly, I wasn't like looking at the incident when it happened. I was prepping some stuff in the kitchen. And when I came back, I see like Finn in a stretcher with a neck brace on. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like,
Hey, he hit that big old falcon arrow through the table
I
like he
saw
did to Bad
that.
Bunny at Backlash.
And then when I saw his head moving, like while he was on the table, I'm like, okay, so at least he's not seriously injured. Like at least I was able to like not have to worry about that. Then Judgment Day comes out. They beat up Damian Priest. They roll. Damian fights back. He rolls Finn all the way to the ring. He rolls back in the ring,
Hey,
and then they still have another like.
Damien, you got this wrong. Damien attacked Judgment Day while they were stretchering Finn out.
Okay, I see.
Damien's the
Adam,
asshole here.
Oh,
Adam Pierce was holding Finn's hand too. It was serious.
they still did that match for another like 10 to 12 minutes after taking Finn off the stretcher.
Right. It was a great match. I think the wrong man won.
Oh, the man who no sold the fucking coup de grace through the table.
Yeah, that
That
match was-
man.
Look, the entirety of this feud, I don't think Finn won a single match in it.
I mean, that you could say that about Finn for the last like 2 years outside those 3 title match or tag team matches that he would have won and then defended.
Right. It's just it
Finn Balor, man.
I don't think Damien was the correct winner.
He is not his brother's keeper. I did not know that about him. Nor did I think that would ever come up in a match with him in a relevant manner. I still can't understand it, but yeah, that's the period on the end of that sentence.
Yep. So that was Raw. A lot more of a wrestling show, a lot more what you would expect out of a Monday Night Raw compared to the week prior, which is fine, again, once you understand why it happened. Already booking some interesting matches for next week, and as we get closer to uh, the Royal Rumble and then into Mania season, Raw's going to be some pretty good television, I would say, still.
Absolutely.
And then on NXT, a couple quick things happened there. Fraxium retained their tag titles. Shotzi is the number one contender for the Women's North American Championship by beating Stephanie Vaquer, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Very interesting choice.
Yeah. So that was Stephanie's first singles loss on the main roster to Shotzi, or in the NXT to Shotzi. That was interesting. And we're getting a match with Oba and Eddie next week for the title. Eddie's gonna die.
Eddie will die.
Yep. He's getting pancaked for sure.
Anything else you guys want to cover? Bit of
Do
a
we
quick
talk
show.
SmackDown?
Yeah, we can if there's some stuff you want to talk about from SmackDown.
Well, was there anything you wanted to talk about? I admittedly didn't catch the show. I've kind of like peeped in and out of highlights.
Yeah, I kind of
Anything big?
Tiffany is, well, this Friday, Tiffany's first title defense will be against Bayley. And on NXT, I wouldn't be surprised if they teased Roxanne Perez maybe being on SmackDown.
I kind of feel like Roxanne's going to interfere.
Yeah, Roxanne could very well be on SmackDown on Friday because
as much as I would like Tiffany's first defense to be clean, I think Roxanne's going to interfere.
Yeah, they're gearing her up for main roster as well. They should. I think SmackDown, if that's the decision they go with, I think SmackDown would be a perfect fit for Roxanne.
Yep.
Do we talk about Masha Slamovich on TNA or from TNA on NXT? Sorry to kind of completely.
That's fine. That's your thing. Yeah, she was there.
Oh no, I just wanted to say it. She certainly was there.
Yep. Will she be in the Rumble? There's a good chance. She might not be, but there's a good chance she'll be in the Women's Rumble in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I feel like the Knockouts champion's been a pretty steady staple of the Women's Rumble over the last few years. So,
yep.
At least with Mickie James and then later on with, Jordan Grace, but make it a three-peat.
Yeah, could very well be as long as she doesn't lose to the newest member of their roster before then. What else was on SmackDown? More tag team related drama with DIY and Pretty Deadly, which is kind of whatever.
Los Garza, I think, got a win, did they not?
They did.
About damn time.
We also have new number one contenders for the women's tag team titles, currently held by Bianca and Naomi, and that'll be the Meta Girls. I don't know when their title match will be, but they are the number one contenders.
I see them taking that.
Cutting another great promo. I know we talked about it earlier, but man. And LA Knight and Shinsuke ended in DQ because LA is fighting the Bloodline again, which is whatever.
Yeah, we still don't know who killed Jade. I wonder if we'll get a payoff for that at the Rumble.
It was Bianca.
I think it was Bianca or
I
Naomi.
don't know.
I still think it was Naomi.
But I want it to be Bianca for intrigue reasons.
It could just be both of them. But
I say Bianca was out in the ring.
Bianca told Naomi to do it.
Yeah, but Brandon, they didn't show she wasn't getting attacked at that time. Cameras just show that she was dead on a car.
Yeah. I will just say I have my doubts. I'm reserving all judgment, even though I really think it was Naomi. But the cards will be revealed, I'm sure, at least, if not at the Rumble, then certainly directly after.
Yeah, it could be the Friday before or after the Rumble, or at the Rumble itself, I would say. I don't think it should be dragged out any longer than that. Unless she's actually needs to recover.
If we get a Jade Rumble appearance, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think a Jade Rumble appearance would make sense. She was quite good in the Rumble last year, and that was her debut last year, so it makes sense to.
I mean, her first moment was her picking up Nia Jax and throwing her out. I mean, it could not have put the you are a fucking star. Like they strapped a rocket to her.
Yep. Then still no Charlotte Flair sighting, but more speculation that she will be challenging Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 41. So
I'm fine with that,
Entirely possible.
but she should not win the Rumble.
No, she can stay the hell out of that. I mean, she
Then-
won't stay the hell out of
then
it.
she'll win the
But-
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's
She'll win the
fine.
chamber.
She can win the chamber all the fuck she wants. I don't need her winning the Rumble.
All right. Anything
No,
else
that's
on
reserved for
SmackDown?
Iosuke.
Cody and
Uh,
more Cody and
Cody and Kevin.
Kevin and
Cody and Bloodline.
Drew.
Roman being declared for the Rumble by Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Hey, your girl Chelsea Green with her first women's U.S. title defense
Yeah.
against Michin.
Yeah. Hopefully
That's
that
sure to
ends
be a
that
3P
feud
too.
for the time being.
No, not likely. Not likely. Well, I mean, if it builds Michin up too, if it gives her a little bit of character work, then I'm fine with that because Michin's fucking great on her
Yep.
own. She ain't
Yep.
beating Chelsea for the belt, though. Chelsea is going to take this thing to Mania at least. So,
Yep.
I would say she probably loses it at Mania. Chelsea Green should, like, she was arguably the favorite for Money in the Bank last year too. She could be another one that could win Money in the Bank.
Yep.
I want to say that's it for SmackDown, but
yeah, it wasn't loaded this week, but enough happened.
Hmm.
So,
anything else? Did you guys want to talk about anything that from AEW at all? And they're supposed to have a big show tonight, are they not?
I mean, Kenny Omega's back. Won his first match back.
Okay.
And
yeah,
and they
against
announced Kenny and Will versus Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher for their Grand Slam match.
The challenger for Mariah May is decided tonight, correct?
Yep, they have the women's gauntlet, which, with how good their men's gauntlet, casino gauntlets are, I'm sure this one will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I would be shocked if Tony Storm doesn't win.
that. If they don't put Tony versus Mariah in Australia for the championship,
So what are we doing?
I don't know what the fuck they do.
I'd like to think they're not that stupid, but we'll see.
It is Tony Khan.
All right. Hey, can we say Mercedes 5 belts?
Oh.
No,
Well, Mercedes isn't in this gauntlet, is she? Right?
No.
Mercedes is not in the
No.
gauntlet?
She probably
Don't
is
make
not
me-
because they don't want her to
Don't
lose.
make me press it, Brandon.
No, but
Or are
seriously,
they?
no, but seriously,
Oh
they
no,
probably,
she's injured in the back.
probably,
Is the direction you can fuck.
they don't want her to lose. So why put her in a match that you know she's not going to win?
She could win. You know,
That would
again,
be-
this is
that
Tony
would be-
Khan we're talking
that would be
about.
really
Brandon,
bad.
I'm going to press it again.
That would be really bad.
Yep. Maybe this is the event that, you know, in lieu of that, if that were to occur, Buddy Matthews, sorry, I have autism like Will Ospreay, apparently. But like, isn't that the line he used? Didn't he use a line with Buddy Matthews where he was talking about how, oh, you're gonna be a big deal someday, son, you're gonna get you a singles title, mate. I don't know if that's exactly what I said, but he gave this really condescending speech to Buddy Matthews of all people, who's, you know, been in the WWE, had his Mania moment in Australia at their Super Show with the Cruiserweight Championship of all things. And here's Ospreay talking to him, you know,
Some
like he's
rookie.
some fucking dirt behind the ears kid, right? Like, and
Yeah, well,
Let's
that's
not-
that's
let's
on
not
par.
forget.
That's on par for Will Ospreay. No offense.
Let's not forget, Buddy Matthews is also married to Rhea Ripley,
yes,
who's winning at life.
Yeah. Yep.
and maybe with a bit of booking genius and some magic flippy dust from Will Ospreay, he'll be winning at Grand Slam Australia as well.
Hey, do we know if Malachi Black's contract is done? Like, could he be in the Rumble?
They're saying
Oh.
February, March is when he's available.
Mm.
I don't really know. I want Aleister Black back in WWE. I just want him to have bangers.
Yeah,
I feel like
he will be back in WWE. I don't see why he wouldn't be. His wife is there. Triple H is in charge of booking and always had a lot of support for him.
Because the dude is fucking great.
he's been fucking great. And the fact that he has not won a single singles championship in all this time, minus the NXT championship, I guess, for that brief window of time that he held it. But the fact that he's done nothing besides that in all these years is borderline criminal.
Well, we blame Vince for a good chunk of that. They debuted him and then they cut him.
Ugh. And that's the thing too. Like if he comes back to Triple H and WWE, I hope they can make him character-wise as bit as badass as Malachi Black was, with like just the paint and the druid getup and
perfect
just
guy to beat Shinsuke, I would say.
old school pagan shit. Yeah, or have a little program with Penta too, perhaps. Either would be fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, just like with Penta coming in, there are a lot of matches that I would love to see Black have.
Just want to
with
see
guys like Gable, with guys like Penta.
Just Black
Ilya
Man.
Dragunov, dude. Could you imagine that?
Oh, I want to see what's his headbutt called?
The Torpedo Moscow.
I want to see him do that into a black mass.
I was just thinking that too. That'd be the funniest shit. That'd be the funniest spot of the year if they can make that work. But oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff happening in the world of wrestling now. And I'm very, very excited for 2025. And we'll go over that in our next show, I think. I feel like after talking about this past year, I think it's safe to say we've got a lot to look forward to in 2025. I think there's a lot of room in an episode to cast predictions. Maybe have ourselves a little hot take Emporium quarterly.
Yeah, I think next week's probably a great week for that. I think next week's probably a great week to reopen the Hot Take Emporium. We can do our 2025 Hot Take Emporium, and then that'll lead us into the following week of Royal Rumble predictions.
Yeah,
packing for the Royal Rumble if you're going.
Sorry.
And packing for the Royal Rumble if needed.
Yes, of course. If you're going, I wish I was.
Yes. Right. I missed the ball big time on not getting tickets when I very well could have.
Yeah, I'm just sad that like I'm not going to the Rumble this year, and I know I'm not going to the Rumble next year.
Well, I'm sure someday.
Yeah.
I'm sure someday we'll get the Royal Rumble at AmFam Field, Pierce.
Well, they were talking about it next year, and then fucking Saudi had to, use their blood money.
Blessed be, right?
Yeah, maybe 2027 Ope does the Rumble. So, but until then, yeah, Pierce, you're gonna have a hell of a time. I feel this card is gonna be real good. I think.
Already got a stacked men's Rumble.
Yep.
Legit.
Yeah, it's
7
one of the best in recent memory
already.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think that's all we got for today, though, eh, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats to all our award winners.
Yes, thank you. You will not get something in the mail unless you would like to request it from us. So if you want to reach out to Ope Three-Way on Twitter, award winners, feel free to do so, and we will gladly send you out an award.
Yeah, maybe we should tweet out our award winners. See if we can, get some traction going there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I made up a nice wrestling sign for a show. I feel like I could fashion up a nice little trinket to show this, magnanimous accomplishment.
Absolutely.
For all of our winners.
Directly. Nice job, dickhead. But I think that closes us out, boys. As always, thanks for stopping in the Ope Three-Way, and thank you for listening to the first annual Ope-Ehwards. We'll see you next time. Have a beer on us. Have a great night.